As a youngster, I was born and brought up to the age of 8 in Wagga Wagga, so we did a lot of fishing on the Murrumbidgee. I caught my first fish, which was a stinky old carp, at about the age of 4. And I have a photo somewhere of me hugging it. And from that point on, I just love fishing. My main fishing, my bass fishing, started when I was about 10 years old on the Nepean River. I lived up the mountains and rode my bike down the river, and it all came about from a book I read by John Turnbull, which was the bass book that Fishing News published. And he was talking about the Nepean Hawkesbury River system, and I thought, well, that's at the bottom of the hill. So I had a lure, my first lure, which I still have. I rode my push bike to Yarramundi, walked up about 300 metres up the river. First cast, I got a fish about 42 fork length. Second cast, I got one about 38 fork length. And from that point on, bass have become my forever fish. You know, when guys get together and say, oh, if you could only catch one fish for the rest of your life, what would it be? It'd be bass for me. We moved from the Blue Mountains to the mid-north coast here about 24 years ago for a variety of reasons. One was that I was coming up here to go fishing for magazine articles and photos anyway, so wife suggested we move up here. And it just, as a consequence, I've got fantastic rock fishing, estuary fishing, and the bass fishing is absolutely phenomenal. So it's a good trade-off between comfort, keeping the wife happy, and getting what I want. So the way I organise the shed, I've got 50 and 30 litre containers full of gear, and it's all labelled on the front so I know what's in each one. So it saves time searching for gear, and it's like one of those things where you know you've got it, but where is it? And you generally find it the day after you needed it. So I've got it all in boxes. I can rake through, find what I need. For my bass fishing, I've got boxes in things like Plano waterproof bags. So I don't have to go searching for anything. I can just come in, pick up the bag. I know I've got all the gear I need in the bag. The other thing I use the shed for is I do all the product photography for Pure Fishing. So all their Berkley, Abu, Pen products, it turns up here. I take the photos for the catalogues. I've got a good size aquarium to do some still photography of products. And photography has always been a part of my fishing. I feel naked and useless if I go fishing without a camera. I started writing for fishing magazines when I was 14 years of age, and I had a column in Fishing News called Fish Scraps for a couple of years until I found out how old I was, and then I was excess to requirements. But then I found Fishing World. I had a feature article in Fishing World back in 1981, I think. And from there I've worked for all the major publications in Australia, some international, but it has been a passion as much as the fishing. I have actually done a couple of bass DVDs, such as the passion that I have for the bass. A good mate of mine, Dave Seaman, who sadly has passed away, he and I got together and thought, we're on the river, we're fishing, we may as well film it. So out of that came Wild River Bass 1 and 2, and then Dave's passing, I did Wild River Bass 3 as sort of a tribute to him, because we had discussed it before his passing. Wild River Bass 4 is on the drawing board. and I've spent quite a bit of money on camera gear, so it has to happen, otherwise the wife will kill me. Yeah, so I've dug out a few of the old photo albums and magazines. A photo of me at 2 years old with a dummy in my mouth on the banks of the Murrumbidgee. A few of Fishing World's covers that I've had over the years, and Fishing News. That one's from 1986, so what's that, 37 odd years ago. That they are who I started writing for back in 1979. So that's a long time ago. But as far as fishing photos are concerned, we used to spend, three mates and I, down the Gross River a lot, chasing bass. And the thing about bass fishing, it isn't just about the fish, it's about the environment, your mates, the scenery, the wildlife. So it is actually more than just fishing. That's a photo of my first 50 fork length bass, which I caught in 1984, I think, with Peter Horriban, who was the editor of a fishing magazine at the time, up on Worrell Creek. But bass have been a bit of an obsession. That one's the Clarence Gorge. But even early on, we would go down the river and Gross River there, just catching bass and spending entire weekends fishing for them.